streaming live across the country, tackling the topics everyone is talking about online. Share, engage, and interact. This is Newsfeed Now.
Good Wednesday morning. We made it halfway through the week. So glad you can join us on Newsfeed Now. I'm Suzanne Brunner. If this is your first time watching, here's what we do. Newsfeed Now looks at stories across the nation that has a lot of people talking online. The mask debate is definitely one of them. So Walmart and Sam's Club just announced it is now requiring customers to wear masks when they go shopping at its stores. The change will start next week, so you still have some time to get a mask. More than 3 million people have now tested positive for the coronavirus nationwide. More than 130,000 have died. Cases are climbing in much of the country, and many cities and states are reimposing restrictions to contain new outbreaks. That includes mask requirements in public settings. Turning to Michigan, where an argument about face masks turned deadly. Authorities say a man stabbed another man who had challenged him about not wearing a mask in a convenience store. A sheriff's deputy shot and killed the suspect. Here's Whitney Burney, who walks us through what happened.
Michigan State Police released this video of the incident this afternoon. In it, you can see the officer attempt to pull Ruiz over. Ruiz immediately gets out of his car and begins approaching the officer, who is yelling for him to drop his weapon. Body cam footage of this exact moment shows Ruiz begin charging the deputy. Police say he at one point covers the deputy's weapon. You can hear multiple rounds fired. Ruiz died at the scene. The Eaton County Sheriff's Office says the deputy has since been placed on administrative leave as Michigan State Police investigate.
But I thought it's important that you see a short clip of the video, the body camera footage, and a picture of how close the assailant came to this deputy. The deputy was in fact in fear of her life, and it's important that that deputy is safe.
The Eaton County Sheriff's Office says the deputy has since been placed on administrative leave as Michigan State Police investigate.
Very unfortunate she had to use her weapon, but she saved her life. I mean, that's the most important thing right here. She had to use deadly force, and she did it properly, and I'm glad she wasn't harmed in any way.
Neighbors tell us the suspect does live in the neighborhood where this happened. He was just a few homes away at the time of the incident. Police are calling this a senseless tragedy, all stemming from a mask.
The goal here is to be safe. I mean, that's all the governor is doing on this executive order. Stop the spread of this COVID-19.
Wow, scary moments caught on camera right there. I'd like to bring in Tom Hillen from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's been following the story as well. Tom, thanks for joining us. We saw what happened after the alleged stabbing took place, but what exactly led up to that fight at the convenience store? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically there's two men in the convenience store, one of them a 77-year-old man and who did have a mask on, and the other guy simply didn't. And now in the state of Michigan, our governor did make it mandatory that any time that you are in a place of business, you must be wearing a mask. It's the law of the land now here in Michigan. And basically the guy that did the stabbing wasn't having it. He did not want to put a mask on. He did not think that he needed to. And then he proceeded to stab that man that had the mask on, that was urging him to put one on himself.
Wow, that is definitely scary. So they didn't know each other at all. They were just two customers doing their shopping.
Absolutely. From the sounds of it, there was no known connection between these two gentlemen, and yeah, it escalated very quickly, quite frankly.
Yeah. You know, this isn't the first time we've heard of people getting to arguments in the public setting if they're not wearing a mask, but is this the first time your area has seen something like this escalate to that level?
Well, in the state of Michigan, we've had 3 documented instances of things like this. This is just the latest. Over the weekend, someone was also stabbed in the Traverse City area over a mask debate. And then, I don't know if you recall, but back in May, a security guard at a Dollar General, I believe, in the Flint area, he was shot and killed over a mask disagreement as well. So, unfortunately, we have seen it multiple times in this state. This is the first time, though, where we have seen it escalate to the point where a police officer is involved in it and is actually the one that does do the shooting and ultimately killed the suspect when he went after her.
Tom, what's next for this officer? How long is this investigation going to go on for? Do we know?
You know, usually they last a couple of weeks here, but she has been placed on paid administrative leave, which is, you know, common practice in Michigan. And she worked for the Eaton County Sheriff's Office. It's the Michigan State Police that is now heading up the investigation into this incident. But I don't know if you had a chance, but you saw on Whitney's package there, I mean, they released that body cam footage very quickly. And so you can see quite clearly how this escalated and what she said and what he did. So this case may go a little bit faster. Yeah,
Tom, we're looking at the video right now. We can't hear exactly what is going down, but the video that we're watching right now, I'm not sure you could see it. Is that video from a nearby house?
Yeah, there are two different videos. So they released the body cam video, and then there is one of those doorbell video cameras from a house that this happened in front of that they released back to back, really. And so you can hear, if you listen closely on the doorbell one, it's more clear on the body cam one, but you do hear her yelling at him to drop his weapons. And we also know that he, at the time when he was in the store, he had 3 weapons on him. He had 2 knives and a screwdriver. Oh, wow. So I don't know how many exactly he had on him at the time he was, you know, advancing towards the officer, but yeah, some very scary, intense moments there.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing in this day and age, you can count on homeowners having some sort of security camera out there. So this will definitely help with the investigation. Of course, they're going to look at all those different camera angles. All right, Tom, we appreciate your time. Thanks for bringing that story to us.
Thanks for having me.
The Senate returns to the Capitol next week. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell has promised to get to work on the next round of COVID relief. Republicans are suggesting there may be a second round of direct payments, but this time it's going to help out lower income Americans. Washington correspondent Morgan Wright reports.
We need to make sure that those people who are hardest hit get the relief they need to weather the storm.
With the coronavirus far from being contained, Senators Chris Van Hollen and Richard Blumenthal say Americans need new targeted direct payments to stave off economic fallout.
Somebody's at work and doing fine and paying their bills. There's no reason that they should be getting a payment. But people who are hurting because of this pandemic should be getting the relief that they need.
Stimulus payments are necessary for families that are still struggling to put food on the table.
Van Hollen says time is of the essence, as key protections from previous bills, like eviction protection and unemployment benefits, are slated to expire at the end of July.
We still have 20 million Americans out of work. You could see just a flood of eviction notices going out. So all of those issues need to be dealt with.
As negotiations continue for the next COVID package, new direct payments appear to be a source for common ground. Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross says the president supports more stimulus.
There's some interest in doing it through a payroll tax cut. There's other interest in writing checks directly. There are a whole variety of forms which it could take.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said he wants new payments to go toward those making less than $40,000 per year. Reporting in Washington, I'm Morgan Wright.
Morgan, thanks. We know that whatever decision they make out there, this will impact a lot of you at home, so we'll definitely keep you updated. Journalists have been here since the beginning of the pandemic. You know, we are working very hard to keep you informed about what's going on with COVID-19 and doing our part to make sure you stay safe at home. But what happens when you actually become part of that story? An Oklahoma reporter contracted COVID-19. She said it was like getting hit by a truck. Kevin Ogle has her story.
Hey guys, it's, I guess, my first day of official quarantine.
That was a couple of weeks ago. Peyton Yeager at home after testing positive. She told me today she knew something was terribly off before she went to the doctor for the test.
I felt horrific. I felt like I had just got hit by a truck. So I knew something was wrong.
And then the respiratory issues started.
And on day 2, I was waking up feeling like my chest was compressed and there was this huge rock on my chest.
Ooh. Stairs. Come on, Macy. Ooh. Hard to go up the stairs.
Peyton is very athletic, runs and exercises regularly. But the way COVID-19 affected her breathing when she was just taking a few steps to let her dog out was frightening.
Completely out of breath. I would sit down and have to, I got an inhaler. I've never had an inhaler in my entire life. And my doctor he said it would be wise for me to get an inhaler. So I think the breathing was the scariest part.
So, for 2 weeks, it was just Peyton and her dog Macy, with co-workers leaving groceries and supplies on her porch to help her get by. Eventually, her fever broke, and it was time to see if she had beaten the virus during the 14-day quarantine.
It is day 14, and I am getting tested in about an hour. I've been wearing a hat for 2 weeks straight and no makeup, so we'll see how it goes.
It went well. She tested negative and learned a stark lesson about COVID-19.
If I'm going through this at 25 years old, I can't even imagine how an elderly person would even come close to fighting off this virus. If I am lying on my couch trying to get a breath after taking my dog to the back door, how on earth is a 65-year-old gonna push through this virus? So that's when it really hit home for me.
That's really good perspective right there. I would like to bring in Peyton herself. She's joining us now from Oklahoma City. Peyton, it looks like you're doing great now, but first off, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I slept in today, and then now I'm on with y'all. I know. I've been sleeping in later. I donated my plasma yesterday. I was a candidate for convalescent plasma, so here's it on my arm. So it was a little bit of a tiring day, so I wanted to sleep in and get a good night's rest. But I'm feeling so much better.
How did that go? You said you donated plasma yesterday. I've been following you on Twitter. You've been doing a fantastic job, by the way. I'm just so interested in your story, as well as many others. But what is that plasma going to do to help others as well?
So that plasma, it only took about an hour. I did some blood work a week ago they told me I was a donor, and it took about an hour. IV, they take out the blood, they separate the plasma, they put the blood back in you, and the plasma can help up to 3 Oklahomans by this weekend who are in the ICU. They'll also get the bag, like a saline bag in their arm, in their IV, and it'll be my antibodies, my COVID-19 antibodies, and my nutrients in somebody else, helping them fight COVID-19. So, and they're flying off the shelf. People, if you have recovered from COVID-19, they tell me, oops, I'm sorry. There's a lot of news going on. There's a lot of news going on in Oklahoma right now.
Yeah.
But they need people to donate plasma. It's flying off the shelves. Cases are surging. So I'm just glad I got to be a small, tiny part in it.
Hey, you're making a big difference, Peyton. So I'm sure a lot of people there really appreciate that. Do you know how you contracted COVID-19?
And that's what's so scary. I put in my original Facebook Live when I did test positive for COVID-19. I mean, as journalists, I've been all over the state, and the news never stops.
Right.
I mean, I've been at hospitals. I've been interviewing people, trying to do Zoom. We wear our masks all the time, but you just never know. And I think that's what's the scariest part about this.
That is the scariest part about it. Are you going to do anything differently this time around? I don't know I know you were taking precautions, as you said, but now that you've been through this, is there anything that you're doing differently after contracting COVID?
I'm really trying to I was staying indoors as much as possible for sure, but I'm just trying to be extra careful and limiting the contact of going out. And at 25 years old, I want other young people to hear the same thing, pick up the groceries. Breathing is hard for me now, but I try to go on runs or walks with my dog. That's my exercise. So just trying to keep that contact at a minimum right now, because now I'm in this family of people that have recovered from COVID-19, and you just kind of have this sense of awareness. And I just hopefully my report shows that to everybody else.
I think one thing that people are doing right now is that anytime they sneeze or they're coughing, they're like, oh gosh, I hope I don't have it.
Right.
But for you, this hit you like that, right? It wasn't like one symptom here and then it developed to another one the next day. It just hit you right off the bat?
Yes, this is the number one question I've gotten in all of my direct messages, so I'm glad that we're talking about it today. I woke up that Monday morning, June 22nd, could not move. I went to bed Sunday night. I just got back from Tulsa covering the president's rally all weekend. And I was, watching movies, made dinner, great. I was like, this great weekend. And then I woke up Monday, it was just all downhill. So that's the number one question I get. All the symptoms at one time around 5 a.m. Monday morning.
You say you're 25 years old. You can't imagine an elderly person going through what you did, because it just seems so tough. For people who are not wearing a mask, maybe not taking other safety recommendations seriously, what's your message for them?
Please, as a 25-year-old, it was a struggle. I'm still struggling. I run about 5 miles a day. I can't even go on a 20-minute walk with my dog, and we're still working that out. So please wear a mask and take it seriously. I know we hear it all the time. My dad actually had COVID-19. My dad's 71. Oh. We have no contact. He lives in Houston. You know how reporting goes. I'm in a completely different city. But he's 71, and it was a struggle for him. And I do stories every day about 60 and 70-year-olds who are struggling. So just please do it for them. Mm-hmm. I could barely, breathe and take my dog out to go to the restroom in the backyard. I can't even imagine a 71-year-old trying to get through this alone.
Is your dad doing okay?
He's doing great. Good. He donates plasma twice a month. So now we have this special bond together. But I'm just so glad he's okay, and I'm glad I'm okay.
Same here. I know we could talk more and more. We got to get going, but one more question. I've got one more question for you. We are seeing you in a state that we normally wouldn't see you reporting. We're seeing you like just documenting the process. Why was it so important for you to do that?
I know. I picked up a camera right after I tested positive. I didn't even know if I would ever use it. I was like, do people, they see me on air and we're getting information from health officials, but this directly affected me. And at 25 years old, if I have the opportunity to do that, I just wanted to pick up the camera. So to be honest, I didn't even know if anybody wanted to listen, but the overwhelming response I've gotten from people, from young people, that kind of can have this, relation with me. I just wanted to be as transparent as possible. I'm on air every single night at 10 p.m. So I was off air for 2 weeks. And so I was like, okay, I'm off air. I might as well, bring the transparency to them once I get back.
All right. Peyton, thanks so much. We appreciate it. So glad you're doing and feeling better.
Thank you for having me. I'll talk to you later.
Take care. A Massachusetts couple is husband and wife with a little help from their state and local leaders. Bill Shields explains how their planned nuptials went awry, only to be saved at the last moment.
Matt and Naomi Kalia's wedding photo from last Saturday on the Cape. And the guy in the red shirt, he's not a wedding crasher. That's Carlo Di Maria, the mayor of Everett. He stepped in when the Reverend was a no-show.
Saying our vows, looking across from each other with the water there, our family there, our dog at our feet.
Yeah, we had personal vows written down, and Mayor could be there with us, and we were both crying and everything.
When the Reverend didn't show up, Naomi's mom spotted Di Maria in a nearby backyard and asked if he had the authority to marry the couple. He did not.
We were able to make it an official, legal.
So Di Maria decided to call Governor Baker, who gave the Everett mayor emergency justice of the peace status. And the vows were said.
Like Matt said, it was a great, very easy. It was right on the cell phone. I was able to just scroll through.
The young couple are both doctors heading to new jobs at Cape Cod Hospital. But today, they stopped for lunch at Willow Bend Country Club to give Di Maria a gift. They would have liked to also have the governor and lieutenant governor at the table.
How Lieutenant Governor Polito and Governor Baker care about their citizens. And it was nice to hear that directly from them on the phone.
That is such a great story. Congratulations to the couple. Not only a memorable day for them, but for the mayor as well. Now, while the governor and the lieutenant governor were not at that lunch meeting, they did call the couple after the wedding to offer their congratulations. Well, that is our show. We will see you right back here tomorrow at 10:30 Central Standard Time. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great day.